Oh, welcome to the 21st June 2025, the Gilmore Auto Museum and Collections here. It is a combined muscle car, Mopar, Corvette, and pony car day. They used to have them separated years ago. They're doing them all at once. I missed this little part here in the last video I did of the whole museum here. Show you AJ Foyt's Indy racing cars. Here's a 73. Here's a 74 Coyote. Of course, sponsored all of his Indy 500 wins by Jim Gilmore. Let's go out here and take a look at some real goers. Of course, held once a year here at the Gilmore Car Museum facility. Most of these barns were moved here from different places around the state and erected here in this beautiful little park, the Gilmore Car Museum. Hey, wow, just this part, just row after row, muscle cars, Mopar, Chevy trucks. There goes a Cyclone spoiler. Wonder what Abraham would think. For that matter, I wonder what Abram would think. Across one of the vintage Cadillac dealerships, right here next to one of the vintage Lincoln dealerships. Got the red wagon, except this one doesn't have an engine in the rear and does wheelies. This is a little red express truck. Talk about the catbird seat. Have a nice little corner here next to Abraham Lincoln. This is where all the drive-ins have to check in before they're assigned their parking areas. Talk about the little red wagon. Here comes one right down here. Little Dodge. We'll cut in and out of these more interesting looking vehicles that like either look or sound hot. So that could be almost all of them, right? I love this one. And he's pulling his own gasser with. Yeah. All right. Speaking of muscle cars, this little site here between the Cadillac dealership and the other display barns, there's a sign here showing the future site, the Museum of Muscle Cars. This is going to be the Museum of the Horseless Carriage and other things. Right back. There you go. Got you a little Mopar here. That's quite a barn straight ahead right there. That's a video unto itself what's inside there. Unbelievable. Never seen anything better. In the United States, Jay Leno would be licking his chops. I mentioned the little red wagon. Used to do the wheelie stands. Engine in the rear. Here's a version of it. And some hefty newer Mopar right here. There we go. couple of these cars you've seen in a video over in Vicksburg, but that's just a couple of them. We haven't even scratched the surface here. All right.
How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. Now that I'm here.
Yeah, there you go. No bugs. There you go. How you like that, folks? Very nice. This is really something to be proud of right here. Boy, oh boy. What a heck of a restoration. Beautiful. 440 Magnum. $454. Another Grand Sport $455s. Beautiful Cyclone. Wow. Cyclone spoiler. Fantastic 429. Holy smoke. I'm especially shouting out to my friends, the Millers, Tony and Susie. You guys are awesome. And I know you love these muscle cars. Shout out to Louis Offer too. By golly, I think we're gonna see some vets here, Louis. Keep the faith. I had a 72 Duster with a slant 6 automatic transmission. One like this. This is the organization that's putting on the show here. The Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals today. Very cool. I had a Schwinn. It was a full-size Schwinn. It wasn't a Stingray, but it was the same color as Goldwyn here. The seat, the grips. My grips were white. That was the color. Middle 60s. Only a couple ways of filming this today. That's with the sun at our backs. There's 446 pack. There's a lot of these inside. How do you like this one?
Exactly replicating the
Exact replica of Richard Petty's race car back in the day. 426. Look who it's signed by. Airplaner. Yeah. And that's something. Dale. Richard. Very cool. So is this. So is this. This Impala isn't too cheesy. Me. Underneath there. I put the mirrors down so you can look underneath.
I'll be right back.
A Coyote Duster. Look what's along here. .454 turbojet. Mach 1. Here you go. The Vista Cruiser. He's ready, man. Those American mags on there. Yeah. Very nice. 440 here. Man, that Charger. Yeah. Here's a Barracuda. The Uper Sleeper. Wow. Isn't that something? Good thing for the Upers. Here's your 442 ragtop. Wow. Very nice. Let's see what's in the main part down here. Be right back. Here is their replica with all original pumps and hardware and everything. The Shell station, including the real original old tires back here in the tire rack. Real wore out tires from back in the day. Very cool. Brand new building right here. Brand new. Right back. See 3 generations of pumps here. Crank the amount of gas that you'd want up into these windows, and then you would take the gas handle and fill up your vehicle. There's the little switches and the pumps, the cranks. They went from these to these. This was the filter. Of course, these were lit. And then they moved on to these. I remember using these, seeing them being used when I was a boy. Yep. These are for oil. You pull in and be serviced. And of course the oil bottles down here that they would fill and have ready to pour directly into your engine. One of their thermometers. I'm gonna go inside and take a look around. An old gas station and Shell memorabilia. Cool old coat machine. It's not that old. It's old enough though. And everything else. There's a lot of the old globes on top of the different gas stations and brands. There's the Sinclair over in the corner with the green dinosaur. The old cash register. A credit card machine from back in the day. I remember these. They make an imprint of your card and they'd keep the cards in a little file. They were made of metal. You'd tell them your name. They'd pull your card out, put it in a little piece of carbon paper and tissue form, a little form, and they would stamp your imprint. And then you got the receipt. The dealer would mail his copy in for reimbursement. Yep. They did that in big stores, you name it, Sears, all the department stores in the day. Be right back. It's the first Ford GT of the day, and I think there's something they have in here that's like on really super special ice of something. Oh, they're racing slot cars here today. They have a slot car racing competition. And so the gentlemen, the young men are racing slot cars. Here's a winner. Okay, I talked about the barns here and so forth, other buildings being rescued over the years and rebuilt here, repurposed. This sat down, downtown Kalamazoo, near the intersection, it was either of Michigan Avenue or Kalamazoo Avenue. Along there, the railroad tracks, this was the railroad switching station. It was a manned position during the day. It was going to be literally scrapped. It was saved and mounted here. Other content creators here. It's the 4th one I've seen today. Really something. $392 shaker, another $392. $426. Very nice. I'd take it. I'd ride around in that right now. Wouldn't have any problem. Here's a 1320. Yeah. There you go. RT Scat Pack. All right. This will fill up here in the next hour. I those right there. There we go. Very nice, huh? Nice little GTX parked right next to it. There's nothing wrong with this, man. Check this out. Out of Fenville, Michigan. That is a short little ride right there. There you go. Can't deny it. You can't deny it. 66. 444 speed out of Hastings. Oh yeah. Here's the second Coyote Duster we've seen. Pretty cool. Look what the Roadrunner has going on back here. Hit me. As I'm looking over a pair of RT, somebody brought their Airstream vintage. This is where people that are displaying are selling their wares. This is a swap meet just beginning. It's wrapping around here. Beautiful Kragers with perfect mags for this. Perfect mags. Very cool. Here's its California Beach little brother. I like this one. Check out those exhaust. Pretty cool. Hey, got that parked next to the second little red Express I've seen. This whole row right here is going to be nothing but Chrysler and Mopar. I had a 2014 RT. Bought it brand new. It was one of 70 in that paint scheme and configuration that year. Had the big Hemi in it. I had it legitimately up to 151.5. You literally have to use the paddles. It is a beast, and you need to keep both hands on the steering wheel. If you were even thinking of shifting and putting the mustard to it like that, you'll find out that you'll reach right up and grab that steering wheel with both hands and go straight to the paddles. Only time I did that, it was not the fastest I've been on the ground. Boy, there's a beautiful CUDA. Doggone, is that nice. The right year, the right pipes. It's a 346 pack. Very nice. Well, the fastest I've been on land was riding in a jet aircraft, passenger, taking off full power and going about 160, 165 before it reached V1. They rotated and we were gone. So I can say that I have gone a little over 160 on the ground just before takeoff. That might count. This is the start of the swap meet. They're going to get down and around here and there'll be some more engine related things. Great looking GTX, especially look at the Kragers on here. Okay, they're my favorite mags. Those and the gray American mags. Yeah, those are my favorites, but they just look darn good. I mean, that's my own humble opinion. As you can see, this fella, he chose something different. This little dude here has the same engine that mine had in it. He doesn't have the hood open. Darn it. Another beautiful Charger. Remember these chase scene in the chase scene in the movie Bullet? This was a little different. It was a Charger. We'll find one. We've seen one a little earlier today. I didn't call it out. I will if we see it again. It looks like you have a cool little truck back here, some transmission parts, so forth, for sale, and manuals, and so forth. Old Steve McQueen did most of his own stunt driving in that movie, Bullet. That little cool little pony car he had. Barracuda. Two Barracuda. Here's some headers. Yeah. The old steering column over here. There you go. I said it 1,000 times. Mopar rules, baby. We buy, sell, and trade Mopar. There you go. Steering columns. What you need. Vintage windshields. Need a carburetor. An old box there. You know there's going to be a Holly. Oh yeah. See them all over in here.
All right, thank you. You bet.
There's some Continental carborundums in here. Oh boy, here you go. Bearings. Distributors. It's over here. I see these leaf springs right here. Okay. Rear end of most vehicles. Some vehicles you can see them on both front and back. Big trucks. I'll tell you about what happened with them leaf springs. Back in the day in Vietnam, the Viet Cong used to strip those leaf springs off of vehicles that were destroyed along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And they'd take them and put them together as a big bow, like a bow arm. And they would use a cable stretched between the two arms as the string. And then they would take steel shafts, like reinforcing rod. They'd cock those springs back and set them, and then load that rod in there like a big crossbow. And then they would wait for the Huey helicopters to come in low, and they would cause a little disturbance to make them come in low and take a look. And as they came in, they would release those bows made of those leaf springs and fire those rods up into the air, and actually, literally, knock the helicopters right down. More than once that happened. It was an effective method that they had, and they used it, and it worked. It wasn't long, and our military got wise to it, and they did a few preparatory conditioning of those areas many times if they had time before they would send in the Hueys and other things. A little story there for you. All right, I'll be right back. Well, here's a front driver's side fender from a 440 Coronet, and I believe this is off a Camaro. I think. It's not marked. And if you need some Ross 426 Hemi pistons, $450. $25 for the pair of heads. And some intakes. It's a block for sale. Looks good, $150. Some intakes. 383s. $440. Now this particular intake manifold system, they feed as you're looking at the engine just like we are right now. That's how they're attached. One carb sits over here to the right, the other to the left. And I forget what the name of the car was that takes these. These are very hard to find. According to what I watched on TV a couple of years ago. Something else. Now this is one of 83. Now I had a one of 80 and it was a full-on Challenger. Ha! All right, that means anything. Yep, I bought that brand new in March of 2014, right off the lot. Matter of fact, they just had unloaded it Saturday night. I seen it Sunday morning on the way into church. I put a little tag on the windshield saying that I know you're not open till tomorrow, but if you see this, this is my phone number and I'm buying this car. And I did just that the very next morning. And they didn't even know they had it. It had been delivered with some others and sat there in the lot and hadn't checked it in yet. So they did. They checked it in, went right to me. About, let's see, 5.5 months later, I sold it for more than what I paid for it. I was happy. Oh yeah, here we go. Hard to come to a car show where there's vets that you can't find a real nice red one. Grand Sport. Isn't this cool? It's a Chevrolet Apache. I'd name this Geronimo. He was a Chiricahua Apache. Got a 340 for sale. Pretty sweet. A little something that I learned from flying airplanes years ago. Alright, you go to a meet, you see people there with the best Learjets, you know, Gulfstreams and so forth on point. And you have a little guy, a little gal with a cool Cessna 150, maybe back in the day, $5,000 or $6,000, $8,000, so forth. And you respect them. You talk to them about it, check it out. They're proud as hell of their little 150s and whatnot. Their little Piper Cubs right there next to the newest Cirrus and so forth. Full respect for everybody, regardless of the size or how much rust there may be on the vehicle or how bald the tires are. It's a full respect. Like this guy here. Where do I park? Just follow the black stripes on the road. Unless you have posi traction, then to follow the one. If you don't have posi traction, this is sweet. Yeah. Wouldn't you really rather have an Olds? Okay, folks, I'm going to end this part one right here. I'm going to have a look around inside the Classic Car Club of America Museum. Like I say, Jay Leno, I don't want to say eat your heart out, but you may have been here at one time. I don't know if you've ever visited this place, but if you ever do, you're going to fall in love. Right back. Thanks again for watching. And if you like my video, take a thumbs up and please subscribe. That notification bell there, that helps as well. Go in here and have a look. See you in the next one.